Hello. We are going to do some cooking and it's been a little while, so I thought I might chat with you guys while I did. Just ignore my messy lounge room. Harder to ignore now that I've pointed it out, but you know what I mean. Okay, so let's get you at a level where you can see me and the cooking at the same time. Is that going to work? No, that's not going to work. Okay, we're going to do our usual point down a little bit. So, everybody, hello. This is not going to work either. Okay, we're going to have to go half on me when I'm talking and half on the counter when I'm cooking again, but that's okay. We're used to that. So I have a cauliflower to use up and I thought, yeah, why not just kind of do it together, right? Why not? So I better turn the oven on. Then we're going to prep the cauliflower. I'm going to use some of it today. I think what I'm going to do is bake it in the oven. Hang on. Might as well let it heat up while we're talking, right? So I think what I'm going to do is bake the cauliflower in the oven, or roast, or whatever you call it, just with some simple spices and salt and pepper. And then we're going to prep the rest so that I can make kind of a curry stew. I mean, you know what I always do, right? I just take a bunch of veggies and add some water and spices, and there we go. It becomes a super stew. We're going to do that, and we're going to do it with cauliflower, maybe some eggplant. Yeah, let's do that. I'm not going to do that thing we did last time where I cooked 3 different dishes at once, because that was quite a juggle, and considering my whole approach to life is to keep things simple, that was a bad idea. That was confusing for everybody, so we're not going to do that again. But I am going to take this off and add an apron, and then we'll get started. My lounge room is a bit messy, so I'm just throwing things in there. Okay, what have we got apron-wise? Here's a nice one. Who knows what's written on it though? I think that's a school one that I have to give back, so I won't use that today. Let's go with the brown one. So I hope you're having a nice day. We're going to do some random cooking and chatting, because that's the best way to hang out, I find, here on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments or want to chat as well, feel free to use the comment section. Hopefully I've turned it on, because if I haven't, we're not going to know, because you can't tell me. It's going to be awkward. But yeah, basically, let's just have a little chat while we cook. If you haven't met me before, my name's Marissa and I love simple living. Hi Laura! Oh good, the chat is working. I love simple living. I love being organised in order to make my life easier. And one of the things I like to do in the kitchen is cook as simply as possible. So if we've got veggies that need using up, I'm going to use them first, and we pretty much just wing it. And then I like to freeze. Hey Margaret, you're here too. Oh, my favourite people are here. Hello. It's been a while. And I forgot to turn comments on last time, so that was interesting. But yeah, we're here. We can chat today. Oh, Sharon's here too. This is like, seriously guys, you 3 are my favourite people. This is so nice. I can't believe we're all here together. And it's actually pretty early for lunch. It's only 5 to 11, but I eat lunch pretty early. What time do you guys have lunch? Actually, I think, Margaret, you'd be at dinner time, I think. Let me know. Oh, that's so nice. Now, I will say, once we get cooking, I'm probably accidentally going to do that thing where you guys will comment and I'll be over here and have to rush over and I'll miss the comment because it's only tiny on my phone and I don't have very good eyes. So if I miss your comment, just keep repeating yourself until I see it. Okay, so cauliflower. Yes, dinner for Margaret just finished. Oh yay, you can hang out with us now. If you're doing your dishes, you've got company now. Or you can relax because it's the end of the day and you need to be able to relax. Let's get some food out and get started. So, Laura, 12:30 at work, but not today. Laura, are you in lockdown or are you stuck at home? We're not locked down yet because I'm up in Newcastle, which is where we haven't had any cases yet. Just a couple of people going through that tested positive later. So we've been lucky so far and we haven't locked down. We're just masks on when you're inside and limited people to your house at the moment. So what have I got? Okay, I have got the most beautiful, huge, actually not that big, but cauliflower. So we're gonna start with, I also have lots of carrots, mushrooms, eggplant and zucchini, half a zucchini. But I need to save the mushrooms for dumpling soup, I think. I mean, I'm not going to use 5 mushrooms in one soup, am I? Let's use 2 mushrooms today. Let's use a carrot, because carrots cost $1 for a bag. Laura, still but able to go to work, get my first jab on Thursday. Oh, good on you. I'm booked in for October. I couldn't get any sooner than October. I'm over 40, so they recommend the Pfizer. I couldn't get any sooner than October, but my husband, who registered after me, got August. So I'm going to try and re-register. Let's see how we go. Okay, so in the soup, I'm going to use some of the cauliflower. I'm going to use the eggplant. I'll use the rest of the zucchini, carrot, onions and garlic, of course, because we always do. Okay, that is looking good. And so what I do, I'll show you my veggie drawer. So basically what happens is, start of the week we do fresh veggies, and I always get a little something that will work in some sort of soup. Now the kids love cherry tomatoes and baby cucumbers. Look how cute these are. Sharon, lockdown here, you've had your first fiver. Oh, you're in lockdown too, Sharon. Good on you for already having your first one. They're hard to get, but apparently we're going to get more in the next couple of weeks. Millions more for the country, so some of the young ones can start getting taken care of as well. It's just, you know, I know there's a lot of back and forth about the vaccines and stuff, but I'm registered to get ours because you have a lot more freedom once you've had that done, and a little peace of mind. Okay, so we've got some tomatoes, but I'm going to keep those because we're having tacos for dinner tonight. I've got some lettuce, but that can stay because I hate lettuce, and we're going to have them with tacos. This is how I store the capsicums, just in these little, we just repurpose these little containers, so that they don't touch each other, which I know sounds strange, right? But when they touch each other in the fridge and they don't have plastic bags, because we're trying to be plastic free for July and just reuse the stuff we already have instead of using, you know, new bags. When they touch each other, they go soft faster. So I put things in different containers. Okay, so that's enough talking for that. Should I use some green capsicum in the soup? I think I'll save that for dumpling soup. I get a feeling though that at some point this is going to end up not being used. I know what I'll do. I'm going to stuff it. Laura, we're looking at a few more weeks of lockdown. A few more weeks, but guess just taking day by day, week by week. Yep, same. We haven't locked down yet, but I think that in terms of restrictions, because we normally have family dinner every Tuesday where my extended family comes over for dinner, and we haven't seen each other for ages, where we can all kind of get together. But it's, I mean, what are you going to do, right? It's worth it. Got to run spending some time with my husband, so you wanted to say hi. Oh, hi, Margaret. Okay, so I know we already said hi, sorry. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Margaret. Okay, so I should cook while I talk, shouldn't I? I need an onion and a garlic. Oh, I have a ton of potatoes to use up too. Tons of potatoes, one little onion to use up, and some garlic as well. I've got my favourite chopping board, which is the yellow one. Does anyone else have a favourite chopping board? Or favourite things that they use? I just missed you, Margaret, sorry. But yes, have a great night, and I'll see you next time. We need a nice big knife and a peeler. And I'm going to get a fresh cloth for dishwashing as we go. Get my hands washed and then we can jump in. isn't that nice? So I might as well get that going over while I'm here. There we go. Okay. So, cauliflower. Cauliflower is one of those things that for years, I haven't seen my dad or partner since I returned back from holidays. Oh, you poor thing. It's hard. It's hard not seeing the people you love. It's great that we're caring about their health and not taking any risks. And you know, there's not a lot else we can do at the moment, but it is hard, isn't it? Did you guys know you can eat cauliflower leaves? You can. I don't have a lot left on this, but I'm going to just chop it up and stick it in the soup that I make in a minute. But we are going to roast first. So, let's chop the bottom off. So that little guy. And the rest that we don't eat, there's not a lot that I can salvage on here, but that'll just go to the chickens in the backyard. And then I'm going to give this a good rinse. Now with cauliflower, I like to look for the brown bits as it gets older and older. So you can see on there's like a couple of tiny little, they're fine. I have no problem eating those. But once it starts to get a lot, that's when I kind of go, and I chop those off. Really easy to prep cauliflower. When I was growing up, we didn't use a lot of it. Just going to watch the press conference. Oh yeah, 172. Is that what it said? 10 brother 4. Oh, wow. You guys have done well, Laura, in actually getting a hold of them. Up here, it's been very hard. Yeah, Sharon, I have to admit, I avoid the press conferences now because it takes forever to get to the number, or I'm just signing on at the wrong time and missing it. And I get really, I find I get more anxious the more I know about it, so I just wait till later for when people are commenting, and then I just quickly look. Okay, so cauliflower. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. We used to eat it boiled and with cheese on it, like a cheesy casserole sort of thing. But my favorite way to eat cauliflower, and this is going to change your life if you're finding yourself wasting cauliflower because you don't love it, you're going to love it this way. So what I do now is I chop the cauliflower in half, and I take half. I could eat a whole cauliflower like this, and in fact I almost did once, and it was just, I shouldn't have, that was a bad idea. There is such thing as too much of a good thing, isn't there? But I chopped this little stemmy bit off. Don't know much about cooking cauliflower. Oh Sharon, it's so easy. It's so easy. So all I'm going to do today is grab a bowl, and it's so cheap when it's in season too. This will really pad out your meal, and you can use it as a snack. I know that sounds crazy, but you can use it as a snack later. And I find kids tend to eat it more because it's got a bit more flavour. So I'm going to grab a bowl. And we're just putting half of that head of cauliflower in here. And look, it's actually not that much. See? Oh, it probably looks like more on camera. It's a pretty big bowl. I'm just going to rinse it. So we gave it a big rinse before, but the reason I do it a second time is the water is going to help the spices stick. Now I'm keeping this super simple. Oil, I'm not allowed to have oil at the moment, or much oil, but also oil can be quite expensive. So to keep it really simple, we've just rinsed it in water, okay? And now we're going to just add the spices straight to there, and they're going to stick because of the water, just like they would have if we did oil. So let's have a look at the spices. Salt, pepper. These are my favourites for cauliflower. You can use as much or as little as you want, and you can keep it really simple if you want to. Now there's cauliflower recipes on the internet where you can bake them up with like a batter, and they almost become like cauliflower wings, which is great, but it's too much effort for me. So I just go salt. Hang on, I'll point you down so you can see me. Okay, so we just go salt, pepper, and just don't omit the ones you don't like. Turmeric. This is so good for, you know, if you have like a little bit of back pain or neck pain, this stuff is really good to help with easing inflammation naturally. Mind you, I'm not a doctor, I've just heard about it. Chili, ground chili. I love the colour the ground chili gives it. But if you don't like spicy, don't go too much. And then onion powder and garlic powder. Oh, mine's sticking. Hang on, I have to bang this. It's going to be noisy. Sorry about that. Onion powder. And then garlic powder. I'm quite liberal with my spices. And then you just go in and you mix it up, right? And this is all I do. I would probably add a little less turmeric next time because it's more yellow than orange. I kind of go for an orangey color, but see how when you mix that up and it's just had a touch of water on it, look how pretty that is, right? Spices are so underrated. I had no idea how much better my cooking tastes once I add a couple of spices. I'm very late to the party with spices. Okay, so look how pretty that is now. And all I'm going to do is put it on a tray and stick it in the oven for about, so it's my old tray. I'm going to stick one of those Silpat mats on it so I don't have to worry about foil or cleaning. Let's get a mat out. Just one of these, stick it straight on and just tip your cauliflower on, right? Just tip it on so it's like this. And then we're going to stick it in the oven for 20 minutes on, I do about 200. You can do 180 if you want. I'm just going to eat this here. I'm really hungry. You can do 180 if you want. Oh, that's spicy. I'm going to do 200 and then I flip them and I do them another 10 minutes. And you do it first so you can do the rest while this is cooking and then eat this. So easy. So easy. Now the rest of the cauliflower, I'm just going to chop it into smaller pieces, stick it in a container, if I wasn't cooking soup today, put it in the fridge for later. But today we're going to make soup, so let's go ahead and just do our usual chopping and doing. Oh, I'm setting a timer too, hang on. Because if I don't set a timer, I'm going to forget that I've got stuff in the oven, so it's definitely worth me doing that. I'll put you down in a second when we're chopping veggies, but for now. So, who else has a cauliflower tip on how to cook it? Because I would love to know other ideas, especially if they're simple, easy ideas. Alright, so the rest of this. Yeah, if you've got a cauliflower idea that you want to share with me, I would love to know, because the more ideas the better, I think. Alright. And the thing is that sticking them in the oven like that just speaks to my soul in terms of hardly any effort. Stop eating while you're talking, Marissa. Hardly any effort. Really big benefit. These are my containers that I keep leftovers and processed veggies in that I'm going to cook with. So that cauliflower is just going to go straight in there, but I'll probably get some of it, at least half of it out now to put in my soup. But for now, it's put away nice and neatly. And we are going to do onions and garlic next. Now, I'm not too worried about my messy counter, but hopefully it doesn't bother you guys either. Alright, let's put you down again so you can see. We're going to chop some onion. Just turn you around a little bit. So I'm finding onions are lasting quite well past the date on the label. I usually get another week or so out of them. But of course that's going to depend on where you live and how old your onions are when you buy them. Oh, forgot to get my saucepan out. Hang on, I'll just go and grab that. Just going to use a nice big saucepan. This one I bought at the off shop. It was like $5. It was that one, but it's just getting a little rinse out. Make sure it's not dusty. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Okay, so saucepan. Now I'm pretty lazy with cutting onions and life in general, so I'm going to slice rather than chop. You can chop if you want to, but because this soup's going to simmer for like half an hour, it's going to soften those onions to the point where you barely notice them texture-wise anyway, and you just get the flavour from them. Okay, so you don't have to be good at chopping at all to do this. Basically, my kind of cooking, as long as you love food, you're fine. We just cook with what we have. We cook it in a simple way. We make it taste delicious with thyme and spices. I mean like thyme, like you cook it for a long time. And then we freeze it so we have dinner or lunch for multiple days. Okay, so onion is in. Let's do garlic. One big one will do. Oh, that's a big one. Look at that. I like to smash my garlic a little bit just to get the skin off easier, but you don't have to. And I don't know why, but I have this superstition about this little green bit here. So I'm just going to chop that out. That's not a thing. That's a Marissa thing, not an actual real thing. So you know, it's fine. You can leave yours in if you want. But if you're weird like me, take it out. Okay, so you can get the garlic crusher if you want. I am too lazy to wash another thing. So I'm just going to chop and then cross chop. Which is basically that messy chopping that you do with your hand on top of the knife, so that you don't chop your fingers. Once you've done a few, it becomes easier and the smaller pieces chop very, very quickly. Okay, so these meals, if you're new, I know we've got a few people watching, if you're new and you haven't watched before, the type of cooking that we're doing is very budget friendly, is great for your long-term health because you're getting a lot of veggie colours, a lot of vegetables, a lot of colour, use a lot of beans and lentils. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you how effective it's going to be for your health, but it has been very good for mine in the last 6 months. I'm sleeping better. I feel good, and I don't have heartburn anymore, which I said also. So my blood pressure's better. But also, this food, when you cook with a lot of coloured veggies, oh, I don't know what it is. This food is very satisfying and makes me feel very happy. Okay, so I've got my onions and garlic in there. These are going to go on the stove, and I'm just going to add a little bit more water every time it kind of runs out. And to do the water part super easy, I just use my kettle. And I keep refilling it as I go. So that's going on. Just filling up the kettle. Let me know if you can hear my washing machine in the background. Okay. So we've done our onions and our garlic. Next one I always do is carrot. Did I get the peeler out? Did anyone see me get a peeler out earlier? I feel like I did. Oh, here it is. It was hiding in my bowl. Now, if you don't want a messy kitchen counter, then you can use a big bowl and just do all these scraps straight in there. Which I do some days, but today I'm feeling pretty chilled and happy, so I'll just clean the counter at the end. But if I was feeling overwhelmed, I'd be, you know, peeling these straight into a bowl so it's nice and neat and I'm not stressed out. Now, I don't love carrot, so I'm going to grate it in. If you don't love carrot, use your grater. Don't chop it, grate it, because it will basically disappear into your soup. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot more effort to grate. In fact, I think with carrots, it's easier to grate them than to chop them. And you get so much of the whole goodness of the carrot without actually realizing you're eating much carrot. So, especially seeing how cheap these are at the moment where we are, it's like $1 for a bag. Mind you, here's the problem I have. If I buy a bag, a plastic bag full of carrots from Aldi, I'm paying like $1, $2 max, $1.30. I'm not paying very much. If I buy carrots by themselves at Coles, I'm paying double the price in order to have them without plastic. And that really sucks because, you know, we're doing plastic-free July, but we're also budgeting. Does anybody else have that problem where you have to choose between your budget and your sustainable option? Because for me, I find that very, very frustrating. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put this carrot straight into the saucepan and then I'll be back. Alright, next is mushrooms. So I'm going to make dumpling soup tomorrow and I'm going to add 3 mushrooms to that. So we'll go with the extra 2 today. Nobody else likes mushrooms in my family unless they're on a pizza, so I can eat as many mushrooms as I want. I'm going to give mine a quick rinse because that's what I do. You can wipe yours if you want to. You don't have to actually wash mushrooms. I just do it because, I don't know, easier, quicker. You can peel them, you can wipe them down. Whatever suits you is fine. Can I guarantee they're going to be clean? No, because I can't see your mushrooms. But generally speaking, you can wipe them down, peel them, or wash them. So they're going to go in my saucepan. And we're going to add a little extra water. Alright, next is zucchini. Now with the zucchini, I need to save some for tomorrow. I'm just going to eat this bit while we're talking. I'm going to put a little bit in my soup tomorrow, my dumpling soup. So I'm going to cut just a few discs. And I'll cut these in half. And I'll whack them in a container and they can go in tomorrow's soup and I'm going to grate the rest. That's how we're going to stretch it that little bit further. Just a little sandwich container. And you know what, while I'm here, I'm going to do the edge of that carrot too so we don't waste it. It's not pretty, but it's going to be dumpling soup, so it's not really going to matter, is it? Just going to take that little green bit out. Alright, so we just kind of chuck it in that container and we're good to go. We might as well use as much as we can. In fact, you don't even have to peel your carrot if you don't want to, or your zucchini if you don't want to. I'm not going to peel the zucchini, I'm just going to grate the whole thing. Super easy. Let me know if you're a zucchini fan, and if so, how do you eat it? Because if you said to me, do you love zucchini? I'd be like, no, who loves zucchini? Nobody, right? But zucchini fritters, oh, zucchini in a chocolate cake, amazing. Zucchini in a soup or a stew, really just, I don't know, it adds this another level of freshness and it's just beautiful. Don't grate your fingers. Go nice and slow at the end and just cut that knob off here and just chop the last bits. Okay, I'm going to put the zucchini in now and and I'll be back, and then I'll show you the saucepan in a minute. Let's give that a mix. I'll probably show you the saucepan at the end actually, if you're cool with that, because it's hard to move the camera back and forth. Okay, it's time for eggplant. So you can cook eggplants a number of different ways. A lot of people like the idea of roasting the eggplant, which is fine. Sometimes people chop it or grate it and then squeeze out the water, which is fine. I am not going to do either of those today. Oh, I may roast the eggplant. You know what? Let's put half of this eggplant in the oven and half of the eggplant in the soup, and then we'll go from there. If my peeler works, I'm going to peel it like a zebra, because then you get some of the goodness from the skin, but the whole thing isn't going to be like rubbery and difficult to eat. So same on this one, just one stripe and another stripe. Okay, nice and easy. Let's chop. Actually, I'm going to chop this way first. Okay, so just small pieces. You don't have to salt it and then drain it if you're sticking it straight into a soup or a stew. It really doesn't make any difference. Well, not in my experience either. But if you were going to use these grated and to make like a veggie patty or an eggplant parmigiana, you'll want to squeeze the water out. Okay. How are we going with our cauliflower timer? Hi. We've got 5 more minutes left on our cauliflower. I'm tempted to just open the oven and chuck this on the tray, so I'm going to do that. And then put the rest of this eggplant into the soup. So let's just do this together now. You can keep an eye on me while I do it. I'll be back. So the eggplant's going in and the water is almost gone, so I'm going to add some more. The onion and the garlic have plenty of time to soften. Now we just add water as we add our veggies. And let's just sneak this onto the mat that's roasting. So we've done onions, garlic, zucchini, eggplant, carrot. I also have cauliflower and potato. Potato was my last one and also my messiest one. So I'm going to do the cauliflower, throw it in there, tidy up the bench, and then get the potatoes ready. Because we have unwashed potatoes, so the dirt can go everywhere if we're not careful. Okay. Now the cauliflower you saw me chop up already, so I'm just going to kind of even out the size of the pieces and then throw them straight in. If you boil cauliflower by itself, it kind of gives off this really weird smell. At least I hope that's everybody and not just my house. So if you're putting into something with spices, it's going to be a completely different outcome. It's, I don't know, it's just delicious. You'll just have to take my word for it. So cauliflower in. Okay. Let's start putting things away. I think that's everything from there. Now some of these spices I'm going to use in the soup, so I'm just going to swap them to the other counter for now. Don't need these for now. Right, scraps for the chickens can go in one of these containers. I'm going to put this in the recycling, but if you have a use for this, for reusing it, can you please let me know? Because I'd love to find a way to reuse it before I recycle it. Okay. Oh, and we're going to do the cauliflower leaves. Remember I took those off before? So I'm just going to wash them and dump them straight in. Okay. I think I just dropped one on the floor. Nobody saw, right? Let me know. No, don't let me know. Okay. Chicken scraps. I may have more scraps than my container can handle, so we might switch to the bigger bowl in a second. Let's just see how we go, hey? Okay, chicken scraps. Now, potatoes. Potatoes are amazing. They're going to fill you up. They are pretty cheap. I'm going to put at least 3 in this soup. 3 or 2, 3 or 2, 3. I'm just going to wash them first. And I'm going to peel mine because I like them as soft boiled potatoes, but you don't have to peel them. If you haven't got chickens, don't bother peeling them, just wash them. One. 2.